Hi, this is Hassan Habib. Today I'm going to show you how to configure always on. So always on, to configure always on, you need actually four software. First, VirtualBox. You need Windows operating system like Windows Server operating system. Then you need Sql Server. Then last, you need Sql Server Management Studio. So I will provide the download link in the description. So, yeah, basically we need four software: VirtualBox for creating virtual machine, and we need operating system for running those machine, and we need the SQL Server, and we need SQL Server Management Studio. Let's get started. So I have already downloaded all software, required software here. So here you can see this is my operating system, Windows Server 2019. This is my SQL Server, and this is Ssms, and this is my VirtualBox. So at first I will install VirtualBox. Double click on this. Next. Just leave the default settings. You don't have to change anything. Install, finish. So your VirtualBox manager already installed and it's open. So now it's time to create your virtual machine. So now create, press new. You have to provide name. So first node, first machine will be my domain. So I will name it as a DC domain controller, and the operating system, since I will install Windows Server 2019, so I will choose Windows 19 64-bit. Next. So here it required the RAM size, how much RAM you need. So at least you need 2 GB RAM for each machine to run Windows Server. So yes, by default they provide 2 GB for me. So yes, I will choose this one. Okay, next, create. Next. So dynamically allocated, I'm fine with it. Next. So this is hard disk space, how much space you need. I will provide 30 GB is enough for me. Create. There you go. So my one machine is created. Let me create another machine. Okay, no, not here. Okay, let me install this Windows Server. So from, if you start this machine, you will see like this, startup disk. So it's required the operating system. You have to show the path of your operating system, what which you have already downloaded. So here is my path. So this is my operating system. So this is my, in my D drive always on folder, then it's inside the required software. Okay, let me check, let me expand this one. Okay, click on virtual disk, the folder option. Now press add. Now you have to provide the path. So here is a D drive, always on, required software, and this is my server operating system. Choose this one, open. Now choose, you can see the operating system has been selected. Now get started. So yeah, the language settings, yeah, I'm fine with it. Install now. And make sure you you can see here there are four options here: standard evaluation desktop experience, data center evaluation, and data center evaluation desktop experience. Make sure you choose the desktop experience. Okay, Go next, accept license terms. Next. Now choose custom install Windows only advanced. Here is the hard disk. Okay, now go next. So it will take a while, so I will fast forward this part. So it will reboot your machine maybe twice during installation, so you don't have to do anything. Okay, so my operating system has been installation has been completed. So now I have to provide the password, a strong password. So I will provide a password. Okay, finish. Okay, so now you have to press Control Alt Delete, not Control Alt Delete. You have to press Control and Delete from your keyboard. Now provide your password that you just have provided. Okay, my machine is ready. Yes. Okay, so this is the server manager. Server manager is a tool for especially Windows Server. So where you can configure anything, like you can add role, you can add feature, lot of things. Like there is lot of things here. Like you can configure your IP address. You can add different feature from here. So this is very important tools for Windows Server. Okay, let me close it. Before uh, configuring anything, I will just change the network settings for this virtual machine. So let me go back my virtual VM VirtualBox manager. So you can see network here. You have to just click on this, and here the network adapter setting is by default it's showing NAT. So instead of NAT, you have to choose bridge adapter. So bridge adapter actually it will connect your physical network adapter. So make sure you choose the bridge adapter. Now press OK. So network setting has been done. Now go back to your virtual machine. Yeah, now it's showing different network settings. Okay, I will, yes. Okay, now you have to configure your IP address for this machine. So by default, let me check what they by default I got. Okay, let me check the CMD IP config. You can see here by default they have provided like IPv4 address is like 10.0.0.193. So this is my IP address for this machine, but this IP address is not static, it's dynamic. So instead of making it dynamic, we have to make it static. Okay, so I will choose same IP address, but I will make it as a static IP address. Let's copy this IP address from here, and let's go back your server manager. Don't show this message. Now go local server. Now you can see here Ethernet. Just double click on this. You can see Ethernet here, option here. Double click on this. Now go properties. You can see here, you can see the network protocol version 6. We don't need protocol version 6. You can uncheck this one, and we need this on internet protocol version 4. So double click on this, and you see that it by default it's showing the obtain an IP address automatically. That means the IP address is dynamic, not static. So let's choose this one. Use this following IP address. Click on this and paste it here, your IP address, whatever I have just copy from here. 10.0.0.193. Now I have to provide subnet mask. Subnet mask by default they have provided 255.255.255.0. Okay, I will provide same subnet mask here, 255.255.255.0. And what is my default gateway? Default gateway they just provided this one, 10.0.1. Copy this one, paste it here, and preferred DNS server. DNS server should be always your domain IP address. So let me show you the how you configure your IP address. So let's see, your domain controller IP address is 10.0.145. Then this is your domain controller. You make this server as a domain controller. Then whatever node you will create, you have to provide the DNS server the IP address of your domain controller. So see, this is node 1 and my preferred DNS server is IP address is 145. So 145, what is 145? 145 is our domain controller IP address. Same thing here, domain controller DNS server, it will be also 145. And my second node DNS server also same 145. If I take another node, is then it should be same thing, like preferred DNS server should be 145. So make sure you choose the DNS server. DNS server always will be the IP address of your domain server. So here, so my domain address, so this is my first machine. I will create this machine as a domain controller, so same IP address I will use every node. So yes, so same IP address, so same, so 10.0.0.194. Just copy this one, 194, not 194, 193. Okay, let me just quickly 193. So my preferred DNS server is also 193 here. And default gateway, let me check. Yes, default gateway is this one. So I have just configured my domain controller, this server, like this way. Let's press OK. Okay, close it. Okay, now refresh your server one more time. Now you can see your IP address here. Now you have to add, let me change my computer name. So currently my computer name a randomly generated win under PM, something like that. So I will rename this machine name, change. I will name it as a DC. Okay. You must restart your computer to apply this change. Okay, then close it. Restart now. Okay, let me log in again. Okay, so we have just configured our IP address and we have renamed our computer name. Now we want to make this server as a domain controller. So yeah, before do that we have to turn off our firewall. Currently it's showing private one. You have to turn it off. So click on this domain network, just turn it off. Private network, turn it off. Public network, turn it off. That's it. Now refresh it again. Yeah, now you can see it's turned off. Okay, so my machine is ready. Now I will add a feature to make it domain controller. I will make this domain as a this server as a domain controller. So let's go back your dashboard from server manager dashboard. Now add role and features. Click on this. Go next. Role based or feature based installation. Okay, fine. Next. Next. So second option, Active Directory domain service. So this service we need. Just click on this. Add features. Now go next. 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 Restart this destination server automatically if required. Click on this. Yes. Now install. Okay. Configuration required. Installation succeeded on the domain. Okay, now you can close it. Now you can see, so we have just added the feature, added the role for this server, but we have to promote this feature. So you can see there is a notification in the server manager showing yellow. Just click on this. You can see post deployment configuration. You can just click on promote this server to a domain controller. Click on this. So here we have to provide a forest name. Forest name is actually is a domain name. So you can put anything, like you can put sql.com, sql local, anything. So I'm providing sql.com. So sql.com will be my domain name. Let's go next. So I have to provide a password, same password for my login. Okay, go next. Go next. The target BIOS domain name is SQL. By default, they just provided. Okay, go next. Next. Alright, go next. So it will check some prerequisites, whether my machine meet these prerequisites or not. Yeah, now it's showing like the prerequisite check passed successfully. So you can check here, there are some warning here. You can avoid this warning. Yeah, once you get the prerequisite checks passed successfully, you are fine. You can go ahead, go install. So it will take a while. I will fast forward this part. In the meantime, it will reboot the server. So once it finish, I will come back again. So domain controller feature has been installed. So now you can log in again. All right. So you can check whether your domain controller feature has been properly installed or not. You can check from local server. Click on local server. Now you can see it's showing domain name sql.com. So that means you are connected with the domain, and this machine itself is a domain. So yeah, so from domain, this domain controller part has been completed. Now I will just let me just change the sleep mode. I need to make this computer awake. I don't want to sleep while I'm working on different node, so I'm making this computer screen always will be open. Okay, never done. So my domain controller meshing has been completed. So now let's go back my Oracle virtual machine manager. So my DC, this machine is running. So I need to create two more nodes. One will be my node 1, another machine will be node 2. So let me create new, let name it node 1, version same thing, Windows 19. Next, RAM 2 GB is fine. Create virtual hard disk now. Create VDI virtual disk image. Next, dynamically allocated. Next. So yeah, 50 GB. I will change it 30 GB. 30 GB is fine. Create. So node 1 is done. Let me create another machine. Node 2 version will be 2019. Next, 2 GB RAM. Hard disk now. Create VDI. Next, dynamically allocated. Next, 30 GB. Create. So node 1 and node 2 is completed, but I have to install operating system. Before installing operating system, let me change the network settings. So from click on node 1 and click on network, choose NAT instead of NAT, you just choose bridge adapter. Okay, same thing. Node 2, click on node 2 and click on network, change it bridge adapter. Fine. Now click on node 1 and start this machine. Then I have to provide the path for my operating system. Click on the folder option here, add here. This is my operating system, Windows Server operating system. Click on this, open, choose. Here you go. This is my operating system is selected. Now start. So installation will be started. So installation part is same, like whatever I have done installation for domain controller. So same thing. Install now. Here I have to choose the last option, data center evaluation desktop experience. Click on desktop experience, go next, accept, custom install Windows only, next. Okay, it will take a while. I will fast forward this part. So operating has been installed. So now I have to provide a password. Let me put a password. Now unlock your machine. Control delete. Same password. So your operating system has been completely installed. Now you have to configure your IP address. So you see the server manager automatically popped up here. Just don't show this message. Go local server. Now you can see this is computer name. We will rename this machine, and this is my firewall is currently turned on. I have to turn it off. My IP address is currently is dynamic. I have to provide a static IP address. So let me see what they have just provided for this machine. ipconfig. So they have just provided this IP address for this machine. Let me just copy this IP address and go back your server manager menu and click on the Ethernet IP address assigned. Double click on this, double click on Ethernet, go properties, uncheck the protocol version 6. You don't need protocol version 6, you need protocol version 4. Double click on this, use this following IP address, click on this, paste this IP address here, and your subnet mask will be 255.255.255.250, and default gateway is 10.0.001. Okay, 255.255.10.0.001. And preferred DNS server, as I said before, the preferred DNS server always will be the domain controller IP address. So what is my domain controller IP address? Let's open my domain controller again. So this is my domain controller, this is my node 1. So click on domain controller DC and open server manager, go local server. You can see here the IP address. So this is my domain controller and the IP address is 10.0.0.193. So I will provide this IP address here. Let's go back your node 1. So it should be 10.0.0. Okay, let me just give this IP address here. So here, and this IP address, okay, let me check, 93.193, and this IP address for node 1 is 226. Copy this, just 226. Okay, just okay, okay, close it. Now just record this IP address in your node anywhere. So my first IP address is, so this is domain controller 93, and this is for uh node 1. No, it's not 93, it should be, let me check again, refresh your server, 226, it should be 226. 226, done. Now you have to turn off your firewall. Click on this, domain network, turn off, public network, turn off, public network, turn off, refresh it. Okay, so firewall also turn off. Now I have to rename this computer and add this server with the domain controller. So I will add this server as it with this domain controller. So let me just double click on this, change here. So I will name this server as a node 1 and click on member of domain, click on this, and you have to provide the domain name, complete name. So look, what is my domain name? Let me check from my domain, it is my domain server. Let me check. So this is my domain name, sql.com. So I will put this name here. This is my node 1. Just put the domain name sql.com. Okay, now you have to provide the password for the domain controller. So domain controller username is administrator. So you can check here, domain, go back your domain controller, and you can check which user is currently turned on. Yeah, currently connecting. So SQL / administrator. So administrator is my username. So I will use this username here. Let's go back node 1. So administrator and password, same password, click OK. Welcome to the sql.com domain. That means you are now connected with this domain. Now press OK. You need to restart your machine. Okay, restart now. Okay, let's unlock your machine. So now you see there is a username is showing administrator, and this is local account. You have to provide a domain account, domain username. So you can, what is your domain name? So domain user also administrator, but if you use only administrator, it will just connect the local server administrator account. So now you have to, so let me create a common user for the domain. So let's go back domain controller. Now go server manager, go tools. Now you can see computer management or active directory user and computer. Click on active directory and user computer. Now you can expand the sql.com. This is my domain. So under this domain there are couple of things here. There is computer, the user, there's a lot of things here. So you have to provide this. There is a, yeah, you can choose a add a user here. So this user, create, right click on this, create new. You can see you can create new computer, you can also create new user. So we will create a user. Click on this, let me create my name. Okay, my username will be Hasan underscore, yeah, at the rate of sql.com. Yeah, this user I will create. Next, password, I have to provide a password. Let me provide a password. Okay, don't uncheck, I'm unchecking this option. Password never change. Click on this. So next, finish. So this user I just created Hasan Habib, but I have to provide this user as a administrator privilege. So let me just click on this, go properties. You can see add member of here, member, click on member of, add. Now currently is only domain user, you will provide as a administrator privilege. So let me just write down admin, check name. So you can see the administrator is here, administrator group. So now press OK. So domain, this user actually part of administrator. Now press apply and OK, done. So Ahsan Habib is a domain user and username is Ahsan at the rate of sql.com. So I will use this account for login from node 2. Let me unlock this computer first. Let me choose other user. Okay, Ahsan and the rate of sql.com. I will provide my password. Okay, all right. Now my machine has been properly configured. I am connecting with domain internet connection. Now I have administrator privileged in domain controller, but I have to provide administrator privileged in this node 1. So how I can do that? So let's go server manager again. Don't show this message again. Now go tools. Now you can see here there is the option uh, computer management. You can click on computer management. Now you can see local user and group. Expand this one, group. Now you can see administrator here. Double click on this. So now only one administrator is here, domain admin, but you have to provide the domain, the Ahsan as a administrator. So add Ahsan as a administrator. So let's just type your name here, Ahsan. Click yes, Ahsan at the rate of sql.com, Ahsan Habib. So this user, now press OK. So Ahsan Habib also administrator in this domain. So apply. The following error record attempt is save the properties group administrator computer node 1 access denied. Okay, I cannot add my account as a mm, to make his administrator. So I have to access from other account to make this account as a administrator. So let's just go back, sign out, login again, other user. Let me use administrator, password. Okay, now let's go again, computer manager, tools, computer management, local user, expand this, group, administrator, double click on this, add, let's put my name, check, enter directory, sql.com, username is .com. I'm providing my password here. Okay, so Ahsan Habib, you can see here it's already added. Let's click OK, apply, done. So now Ahsan Habib as a is assigned as a domain administrator for this particular machine. Okay, let's me sign out from this server and I will sign in as a Hassan again. Sql.com, my password. Okay, now I have full administrative uh, access. All right, so my second server, my first node is completely uh, configured properly. Now let's go back my node 2. Before going that, I will change the sleep option here. I don't want to make this computer sleep. Okay, never, done. Let's go back my second node, close it. Second node, same thing, I have configured my network previously. Now go start. I have to show the path where is my operating system. So operating system is here. Click on this file. Okay, choose start. The same way you have to install operating system in your node 2. Next, install. Data center evaluation desktop experience. Next, accept this license term. Next, custom install Windows. Next, okay, I have to provide my password again. Okay, unlock this computer. Let me just put my password again. So second node, the Windows Server operating system has been successfully installed. Okay, I want to connect this network. So at first we need to change the IP address. Then we need to change the firewall connection. We have to turn it off. Then we have to change the name of this computer, and we have to add this server with our domain controller. So let's change from local server, local, then go IP address. Yeah, double click on this Ethernet properties, uncheck this protocol version 6, internet protocol version 4, double click on this. Let me check by default what they have just provided. cmd ipconfig. So they just provided this IP address for this machine. Let me just record this IP address here. It's not copying. Let me check. 104. 104. Okay. So DNS server mask subnet mask is 255.255.0 and default gateway 10.0.01. So I will make this IP address static, everything. So currently this is not static. It might change if you change the Wi-Fi network, then the IP address might change. So yeah, now I want to make this IP address static. 104 10.0.0.104 subnet mask 255.255.255.0. My default gateway 10.0.0.1 and DNS server. As I said before, it should be always the IP address of your domain controller. So let's check what is my domain controller IP address. So this is my domain controller IP address 193 10.0.0.193. Let's do there 193. Now press OK. Close, close, close. Now refresh your server. Yeah, your IP address has been configured properly. Now you have to turn off your firewall. Click on this domain network, turn it off. Private network, turn it off. Public network, turn it off. So my firewall is turned off. Let me refresh it. Still it's showing. Yeah, now it's showing turn off. Now I have to rename this computer, and I have to add this computer with the domain. So let's double click on this, change this computer name, change. I will rename this computer as a node 2, and I have to add this like member of, click on domain. I have to provide the domain name. The domain name was sql.com. Now press OK. I have to give the username for my domain. So the username for domain is administrator. Password. Now press OK. welcome to the sql.com domain. So now this node is connected with the domain. Now you have to restart this computer. Okay, unlock your computer. Okay, let me just log in with this local administrator account, and I will add my Asan, the user I just created in the domain. I will give administrator privilege to this account. Okay, let me just log in. Now server manager is already opening. Okay, now go tools, computer management. Now go local user, expand this local user and groups, double click on this administrator, add. You have to provide the name Asan, check name. I have to provide full name Asan under @ of sql.com and password. Yeah, now you can see the user is here. Okay, Asan is already added in administrator group. Apply. Okay, now cancel everything. Now sign up from this server and try to log in with your username. Asan sql.com password. Yes, so same account I just logged in from node 1 and node 2. So node 1 can check here. Node 1 was, let me just change the sleep. Never, it will not never sleep, and it change from node 2 as well. Sleep, power and sleep, and change it never. So our node 1 and node 2 is ready for configuring always on. Our domain controller is running, node 1 is running, node 2 is also running. So before installing anything, we want to share folder. So currently we cannot access any shared folder. From whatever you can share from here, you cannot see from the from your virtual machine. So if you want to access this access your local drive, any local shared drive, then you have to install some feature. So what is the feature? So for domain controller, I don't need any shared folder, but I need from node 1 and node 2. So let's open node 1 and open your file folder manager. Let's open your this PC. So currently the CD drive is actually is showing like your operating system. You have to eject this operating system from the CD drive first. So right click on this folder and just eject. Now your CD drive is empty. Let's go device, click on insert guest edition CD image. Now you can able to see the CD drive here. So double click on this. So you have to install this Oracle VM VirtualBox guest additions. Click next, next. So you have to reboot your server. Finish. Let's go back my node to same thing. I will do same thing, like I have to eject this operating system from CD drive. Eject. Now it is showing empty. Now go device, insert guest additional CD image, double click on this, next, next, install. So this server also reboot after installing this feature. Reboot now, yes. So in the meantime, I guess my node 1 is already rebooted. Let's log into. Okay. Opening now. My node 2 also, let me turn it on. Okay, so our server is ready. Now you can access any shared folder from your device, like anything you can share. Like let me share this folder. This is my SQL 2019, and I have my SQL installation file here, and this is my Ssms low. So I want to share this folder with everyone. So right click on this, show more option, go properties. In your Windows 8, Windows 10, you can see you can just click, right click, and you can just click on properties. So it's since it's Windows 11, it's showing more option. So show more option, go properties, share. This folder is already shared. So let's me share again. How we share? So share. So let's expand this option, and last option you can see the everyone. Click on everyone, add. Now the everyone will be added here, and you have to provide. Just click on here. By default they will provide only read permission. You have to provide read and write permission. Click on read and write permission and share. Now your folder, this folder is shared. Now go back your Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager. So go back node 1. Now you have to shared folder option. You have to choose this path for shared folder. So click on shared folder. Go click on here the folder plus option. Click on here folder path. Click on here, go other, and you have to choose the path. So my path was from D drive, always on, and required software. This was my shared folder. So let's select this folder, and you just choose auto mount from here. Okay, done. Now you can see, you can able to see from node 1. Let me check node 1. You can see this folder you can access from this virtual machine, but still you cannot access from node 2. You can see here, you cannot see here because we haven't shared this folder from here. So let's click on node 2 and shared folder. Click plus option, shared path, other. Now go software, always on, required software, select folder, auto mount. Now press OK. Now check from your node 2. Yeah, from node 2 you can also access this folder. So yes, so our node 1 and node 2 is ready for always on configuration. So we have to create a cluster between node 1 and node 2. To create cluster, you have to add one feature, that is failover clustering. This feature, you can add this feature through server manager. You can just go server manager, you can see dashboard, and you can just add role and feature. Click on add roles and feature. Next, you can go next. So here you cannot see the failover cluster feature because this portion is for role. So we need feature. So go next. You can see here failover clustering here. Click on failover clustering, add feature, and go next. Restart this destination server automatically if required. Click on this checkbox. Yes, install. So this feature is installing in my node 1. Let's go back my node 2. Open server manager. So we have to install same feature in node 1 and node 2 failover feature. So click on add role and features. Go next, 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 next. Failover clustering. Click on this. Next, add feature. Now go next. Restart this destination server automatically if required. Click on this. Yes, and install. So both server we are installing this feature failover clustering. Let's check our node 1 whether its installation is completed or not. So node 1 is already rebooted. Let me just open this server. Yeah, it is showing it's pending. So installation succeeded on node 1. Now close it. Now let's go back my node 2. Node 2 is also rebooted. Let me finish the installation. Installation succeeded on node 2. Now close it. So failover cluster feature has been added in my node 2 and node 1. So now you can create cluster. So I'm going back my node 1. So this is my node 1. So I will use let me open failover cluster. Just open click on here and write failover cluster. You can see failover cluster manager. Open this failover cluster manager. Currently you don't have any cluster, so you can see failover cluster manager here. So right click on this and create cluster. Don't show. Go next. So I have to add the server name here. So my server name is node 1 and second server name is node 2. You can provide IP address as well. So yeah, I know the my server name is node 1, so I will put node 1 here. Let me add this. Yeah, you can see node 1 dot sql.com. Now I want to add node 2. Let me add it. So node 1 and node 2 is added here. So I want to make cluster between this node. Okay, go next. Yeah, it will some run validation. Next, run all tests recommended. Go next, and now press yes. So it's showing test passed. We have some warning, but most of this is succeeded. So you can see here some warning. So there is no error here. If you see any error, then you have to check why it's error. But since it's showing warning, so we can go ahead, finish it. So we have to provide a cluster name. So I will name it SQL cluster, SQL cluster, and I have to provide a IP address. So this IP address for this cluster, I mean, you can access both node by this IP address. Okay, so by default, let me check my IP address. So 104.226.193. So I can, let me try 10.0.0.105. So I have to use a unique IP address for this cluster. If this IP address is already assigned, it will not take. So let me 10, let me just put 105. Hit next. Okay, so we can use this cluster IP address 105. Okay, here is some option. We add all eligible storage, since this part we need for configuring Windows failover clustering, but we are working on always on, we don't need this option, just we can uncheck this part. Uncheck, go next. Now finish it. Now you can check here your role. Currently there is no role. We haven't installed Sql Server, that's why it's showing is nothing is here. So you can click node, you can see node 1 and node 2 is up. So up means this node is already running, and you can check IP address here. So node 1 IP address network connection, you can check here. So node 1 IP address is 10.0.0.226, and node 2 IP address is 10.0.0.14. So you can see here. Okay, okay, I'm closing everything. So we have create cluster for Sql Server, our always on. Now we have to install Sql Server. Now we are in node 1. Let me install Sql Server. So Sql Server is already in my shared folder. So let me open this one. Double click on this. Run as the administrator. Run. Yes. Installation. New Sql Server standalone installation. Run. Developer. Next. Accept this term, license term. Next. So now I have to select feature, which feature I need. Let me select all. We don't need machine language, machine learning. We don't need integration service. We don't need machine learning here. We don't need polybase. We don't need analysis service. Okay. Okay, just leave it as it is. So next, so default instance, yeah, I will install default instance. Next, so I have to provide the account name, administrative account name here. So by default they just provide NT service, this type of account here. So I will use my administrative account. So Asan is already administrative account, I can use Asan here. Let me type Asan, check name, yes, Asan Habib. This is my domain name, domain IP, domain address. So SQL / Asan. Let me copy this one, paste it here, paste here, paste here, and let me put the password. Let me make it automatic. Okay, now go next. Mixed mode. I have to provide SA password here. Add current user. Next, next, next. So it will take a while. So in the meantime, I will also install SQL Server in my second node. Let me open my second node. Let me go my shared folder. SQL. Double click on this. Yes. Installation. New SQL Server standalone installation. Run. Developer. Next. Accept license. Next. Next. So I have to add feature here. Machine language I don't need. Polygons I don't need. Analysis I don't need. Machine learning I don't need. Integration I don't need. Yeah, rest of this fine. So next. Yeah, default instance. Same thing, I have to give my username. Let me put Hasan. Check name. There you go. Copy this one. Paste here. Paste here. So next, mix mode. You have to provide as a password here. Add current user. Next, current user. Next, next. Now install. So it will take a while. Let me go back my SQL node 1. So node 1 almost finished. So here node 1 is already is SQL Server is installed. Now close it. Now you have to configure something from configuration manager. Let me go configuration. So you can see SQL Server 2019 configuration manager. Click on this. Yes. Now go SQL Server network configuration, protocol for SQL Server. Click on this. TCP port enable, name 5 enable, and go SQL Server service and click on the SQL Server. This is the SQL Server. Click on this, right click on this and go properties, and you can see always on availability group. Click on this and check mark enable always on availability group, and by default detect my cluster name here, so you have to enable here. Apply. So any change made will save, however they will not take effect after until the service is stopped or restarted. Okay, so I have to restart this service. Restart. Now let's go back my node 2. Node 2 is almost there. Okay, SQL Server is installed and also configuration has been done from here. Now I have to install Ssms. Let me go back my shared folder, and here is my Ssms. Double click on this. Run. Yes. Install. So it will also take a while. Let me go back my node 2. So node 2 is almost there. So installation succeeded. Now close it. Now go configuration manager, SQL Server 2019 configuration manager. Click on this. Yes. Go SQL Server network configuration. Expand this protocol for MS SQL Server. Enable TCP port. Okay. Name pipe enable. And go SQL Server services and click on SQL Server. Right click, properties, always on availability group. Click on this. You can see also here the SQL cluster already detected. You have to just enable this always on availability group. Click on this. Apply. So we have to restart these services. Let me restart this service. Let's go back and go back my okay node 1. So you can see my left side, this is node 1 and this is node 2. So we need to reboot this server. Node 1 is reboot required. Let me reboot this server. Let's unlock this machine. Now open Ssms. Let me just SQL Server Management Studio open. Okay. So this is my node 1. You can easily connect node 1 from here. So let me check whether I can able to connect node 2. Connect node 2, my second node. Yes, I can connect node 2 from here. Okay, so before configure always on, we need a database. Let me create a quick database here. New database. Let me name it testdb. So there is a condition prerequisite to, like, if you want to make any database in availability group, you have to take full backup first. At least you have to take full backup. So let me take a backup, and here is a full backup. Okay, the location, default location is fine. Done. So now let's go always on high availability. Right click on this, now new availability group wizard. Next. So we have to provide a name for this group. I will put only test. Go next. So see, you can able to see the database here. TestDB is here. So you can check on this. Go next. So here is the option. So this is my node 1, and I want to make this node as a failover, like automatically failover, and I want to read from secondary node. Click on this, yes, and add replica node 2. So node 2 will be my uh, secondary node. I want also failover, automatic failover here, and also I want to choose, I want to read from my secondary node. Okay, now go next. So automatic seeding, full backup and log backup, join only, skip initial data synchronization. You can choose any of these options. For small database, you can choose automatic seeding. If your database is large size, like almost 500 GB, 1 terabyte, then you have to take full backup and log backup, and you have to restore in secondary node as a no recovery mode. So let me do that. So let me, suppose this is my huge database, like 1 terabyte database. Let me take a backup, and okay, backup. So let me choose a shared location for this backup file. Remove this default location. Click on here and go G drive is my shared folder. So you can let me name it testdb full back. Done. So full backup has been completed. Now I will take a log backup. Task backup, transactional log backup. Remove this location. Click on here. Go G drive. This is my shared folder, and name it test log dot tr, turn. Okay, so my log backup also done. Now you have to restore this database as no recovery mode. Let me just right click on this and restore database device, and we have to show the path. My backup location was G drive. Let me click on G and you can see here backup and log backup. Just click select both of these. Okay, so now my database full backup is here, transaction log backup is here. Now go option, you can see there is a restore with recovery. You just change it restore with no recovery. Now press OK. Now you can see in secondary node it's showing restoring. Let me go back here, expand the availability group. Okay, let me do it from the beginning. So right click on this, new availability group wizard. Next, name test. You have to select the database name, click on here. Next, click on here. Yes, add replica node 2 is connected here. Failover readable, yes. So this is the settings. Go next, and you can choose join only. Click here. Next, so here you can see some part is skipped. Now go next, finish it. So joining testdb availability group test is succeeded. Its user complete succeeded. Now you can see it's showing restoring, but if you refresh it, then you can see it should be synchronized. Yeah, testdb is synchronized. You see. So you can make a listener for this availability group. I mean, this listener is a connection. Listener is a connection where you can able to connect which node is online, which node is primary. Listener will connect this server. So you can click on add listener. You can choose network mode static IP. You can choose test connection. Port number SQL port I will provide 1433 static IP. Let me just add a IP address for this. So yes, let me check which IP address we have used. So 104, 105. So we can use 105, 106. Let me check 10.0.0.0.106. So this is 106 is my listener. So my listener is added. So let me connect with listener. IP address 10.0.0.106, right? 106 was my listener port. Let me just connect it. Yeah, so listener has been connected. So this listener actually is connecting with my primary node. So currently my primary node is node 1. So this through this listener IP address, it's actually connecting my primary node. So whichever is my primary node, like if my primary node is node 2, so by this port, like if you use this port, listener port, you can able to connect the primary node. Okay, let me check which node is actually it's connecting. You can check properties. So here, so you can see I'm using listener port, but it's connecting node 1. Let me fail over to from primary node to secondary node. So how you can fail over? So you can do couple of way. So you can open failover cluster manager, open failover cluster manager, and you can check expand the Sql cluster and go role. Now you can see owner node is showing node 1. Let me switch, let me just change it like owner node will be node 2. So node 2 is up. Let me just choose this one. Okay, so node 2, see it's now running. Node 2 is my, now it's my primary node. Let me just double check. If you refresh the listener port, listener server, and if you check the properties, you can see the it will connect just node 2. See, it's now currently it's showing. Previously it was showing node 1. Now since node 2 is my primary node, that's why the listener is connecting node 2. Okay, now go back. You can check here always on availability group showing the test is primary here, and it's showing primary, but it's not primary. Refresh it. You can check here it's secondary. You can fail over from here as well. So node primary, let me fail over from here. Right click on this, fail over to which node? So from node 2 it will fail over to node 1. You have to connect node 1, connect, next, finish. Yeah, failover happened. So now you can see it's primary, it's node 1 became primary and node 2 became, it's showing secondary. Yeah, node 2 is secondary. So this is how you can configure always on. Thank you so much. Thank you.